Ozzy Osbourne, the legendary heavy metal singer known as the Prince of Darkness, has died at the age of 76. Osbourne's family saying in a statement in part that he died this morning.
The world is shocked. The man we called the Prince of Darkness is gone forever. Fans everywhere are crying, confused, and asking, is it really true? Ozzy Osbourne, the voice of heavy metal, the face of wild rock and roll, is no longer with us. His silence feels louder than any concert. People from every corner of the world are sharing memories, lighting candles, and playing his music on repeat. He wasn't just a singer, he was a legend, a symbol of rebellion, a voice for the broken. And now, that voice has faded into darkness forever. Before we dive into video, please subscribe our channel. Before he became the Prince of Darkness, he was just John Michael Osbourne, a poor boy from Aston, Birmingham. Life was hard. His family struggled with money. He lived in a small home, shared with 5 siblings, and never thought he'd be famous one day. But young Ozzy had something special, a wild imagination and a deep love for music. He listened to the Beatles and dreamt of being a star. Ozzy dropped out of school early and worked small jobs, but nothing satisfied him. He didn't fit in. He didn't want a normal life. Then came the idea that changed everything, starting a band. In the late 1960s, Ozzy joined forces with guitarist Tony Iommi, bassist Geezer Butler, and drummer Bill Ward. Together, they created Black Sabbath, a name inspired by a horror movie. They didn't want to sound like anyone else. They wanted something darker, heavier, more real. Their sound was loud, creepy, and full of raw power, and people loved it. In 1970, they released their first album, Black Sabbath, and it shocked the world. Critics didn't understand it, but fans did. Songs like Paranoid, Iron Man, and War Pigs spoke to a generation feeling lost and angry. Ozzy's voice wasn't perfect. It was rough, scary, and emotional. That's what made it powerful. He wasn't just singing songs. Pain, fear, and rebellion. His voice, his eyes, his strange movements on stage, they created a new image in music, the rock anti-hero, and the crowd loved every second. Black Sabbath grew bigger with each album. Ozzy became the face of heavy metal, a symbol of darkness and truth. People started calling him the Prince of Darkness, not because he was evil, but because he showed the world the beauty inside pain. But with fame came pressure. Money, drugs, wild tours. Ozzy's life changed fast. Still, in these early years, we saw him at his most raw and real. He was a poor boy turned legend. This was the beginning of a journey that would take him through madness, controversy, and glory. A journey that would make him one of the most iconic musicians in rock history. And it all started with a dream in a small town in Birmingham. As Ozzy Osbourne's fame grew, so did his wild behavior. And soon, he became more than a rock star. He became a living myth. The stories surrounding his life were shocking, strange, and sometimes unbelievable. But they were real. Ozzy lived life on the edge, and he didn't care what people thought. One of the most famous stories that shocked the world was the bat incident. During a concert in 1982, a fan threw a bat on stage. Ozzy, thinking it was fake, bit its head off. It turned out to be real. The crowd screamed. The news spread like fire, and just like that, Ozzy was no longer just a singer. He was a legend of madness. But that was only one moment in a long list of wild events. Ozzy was arrested many times. He trashed hotel rooms, fought with reporters, and once even tried to strangle his wife Sharon during a drug-fueled blackout. Drugs and alcohol had taken full control of his life. He became unpredictable, dangerous, and out of control. His shows were dark and chaotic. He would howl, scream, and perform rituals on stage that made people feel like they were part of something evil or something magical. Some called him a devil, others a genius. Churches protested his concerts. Parents feared him, but the youth worshipped him. Behind the scenes, Ozzy was struggling. He felt lost in his own fame. The pressure of being the Prince of Darkness was too much. He didn't know how to stop the madness. Yet no matter how low he fell, his music stayed strong. Every album, every performance carried a strange mix of horror and heartbreak. Fans didn't just love Ozzy for his music. They loved him for being real, for showing his pain, his flaws, and his wild heart. He wasn't polished like pop stars. He was raw, broken, and honest. Ozzy Osbourne didn't follow rules. He didn't try to be a role model. He lived in extremes, love and hate, light and dark, life and death. And in doing so, he created a myth that would never die. This was not just madness. It was a message. Be yourself, even if the world calls you crazy. Behind the screaming crowds, the bat-biting headlines, and the dark eyeliner, there lived a man most people never truly knew, John Michael Osborne. Yes, Ozzy was wild. Yes, he shocked the world. But deep inside, he was a sensitive, emotional soul, a man who cried easily, a man who loved deeply, a man who often felt lost in his own legend. At the heart of Ozzy's survival was one person, Sharon Osbourne. She was more than his wife. She was his warrior, his guide, and his lifeline. When the world turned on him, she stood strong. When his addiction almost killed him, she helped him fight back. Through jail time, overdoses, and public scandals, she never gave up on him. Behind closed doors, Ozzy was different from the dark figure on stage. He was a father who laughed with his kids, a man who struggled with guilt over his past, a husband who wrote love letters and broke down in tears. He often called himself a clown who didn't understand why people worshipped him. Fame scared him more than it excited him. He once said in an interview, "I'm not a bad guy, I just make beat. Had choices sometimes." That sentence captured the heart of who Ozzy really was. Someone stuck between two worlds, the world of chaos and the world of love. Despite all the noise and madness, Ozzy had a surprisingly simple wish: to be remembered not just as a rock star, but as a human being who tried his best. He admitted his regrets. He talked openly about his mental health. He even laughed at his own mistakes. That honesty made people love him even more. Fans who met him in real life often said the same thing. He's kind, he's soft-spoken, he's nothing like the monster we see on stage. That contrast made Ozzy even more fascinating. He was a man of masks, the Prince of Darkness to the world, and a wounded, warm-hearted soul in private. His pain became our music. His battles became our lessons. And in the end, he reminded us all that even legends bleed, even icons cry, and even the wildest hearts are searching for peace. As the years passed, the fire in Ozzy Osbourne's voice remained, but his body began to slow down. The wild lifestyle, endless tours, and years of addiction took a toll. Fans who had seen him jumping across the stage now watched him walk carefully, sometimes needing help. The Prince of Darkness was aging, and it was hard to watch. In 2019, Ozzy shocked the world once again. But this time it wasn't with music or madness. It was with heartbreak. He revealed that he had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a disorder that affects movement, speech, and daily life. His voice shook as he shared the news. "It's been terribly challenging for us all," he admitted in a quiet, emotional interview. The announcement hit fans hard. Some cried, others prayed. Across the world, people who had grown up with Ozzy felt like they were losing a part of themselves. He wasn't just a celebrity, he was family. But Ozzy didn't give up. Despite surgeries, falls, and serious health scares, he promised his fans he would keep fighting. "As long as there's breath in me, I'll keep going," he said. He tried to return to the stage, but the pain was too much. Tour after tour was canceled. Fans understood, but their hearts broke a little more each time. In recent years, Ozzy's public appearances became rare. He was seen in wheelchairs, walking with canes, or simply staying out of the spotlight. Rumors started to spread. Was he okay? Was this the end? The silence only made fans more nervous. Yet even in those quiet moments, Ozzy's spirit remained strong. He continued recording music, connecting with fans online, and speaking honestly about his fears. He said he was bored of being sick, a true Ozzy-style joke in the face of suffering. For many fans, this felt like a long goodbye, a slow fading of the fire that once burned so brightly. No dramatic ending, just a slow, painful drift into silence. And now, if the reports are true, that silence may be final. But one thing is certain, Ozzy didn't lose the fight. He faced it, head on, with the same raw honesty he gave to his music. And in doing so, he showed us that even legends face their last chapters with courage, grace, and heavy metal in their hearts. The world held its breath. News spread like wildfire. Ozzy Osbourne has passed away. At first, fans refused to believe it. Rumors had come and gone before. But this time, the silence felt real. No denial, no new video, just a wave of heartbreak rolling across generations. Confirmation came from trusted sources, his family, close friends, and media channels. Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, had taken his final bow. The man who once stood at the edge of madness and screamed into the abyss was now gone. It didn't feel real. Even in his weakest days, Ozzy felt immortal, untouchable. But time spares no one, not even the loudest voice in rock. As tributes poured in, the world stopped to mourn. From Hollywood to Birmingham, from Tokyo to Sao Paulo, fans lit candles, painted murals, and played Paranoid one more time. Ho once stood beside him, now cried like children. Some called it the end of an era. Others said, heavy metal has lost its soul. On social media, thousands shared their memories. Photos, concert tickets, tattoos, old vinyl records. Messages like, "Thank you, Ozzy," and "You saved my life" appeared everywhere. He didn't just entertain, he gave millions a reason to keep going. His music was pain turned into power, darkness turned into strength. At his Walk of Fame star, fans gathered with flowers, notes, and guitars. Some sat in silence. Others sang his songs out loud, refusing to let him go quietly. In churches and biker bars alike, Ozzy was honored. Sharon Osbourne's statement was short and powerful. "He was my heart, my war, my peace. The world knew Ozzy, I knew John, and he was beautiful." Those words broke even the hardest of hearts. There was no grand goodbye, no last concert, just a man who had given all he had, and then some. He had walked through fire, demons, and darkness, and now he was finally at peace. But the world will never forget him, because legends don't die, they echo. And the echo of Ozzy's scream, raw, wild, honest, will roar forever in the heart of every fan who ever raised their fist and whispered, "We love you, Ozzy."